Hey, what's up? We're back again. Another collab, Leafs Convo styles. Norm in London, Mike in Buffalo. It is Sunday, January 31st, 2021. The Leafs win streak stops at 4, but hey, they got a point in a fifth straight game, losing 4-3 to the Oilers. Mr. Augello, what's your takeaway?
Good morning, Norm. I think even the most pessimistic Leaf fan has to be happy with the way the team is playing. As you said,
Mm-hmm.
points in five straight, 7 of 8 points in Alberta, which, 2 games against Calgary, who was struggling, 2 games against Edmonton, who has been struggling, and to get 7 of 8, that's pretty good. But, I saw a few things yesterday that sort of irked me a little bit, and a certain player who gets on my nerves every once in a while again came to the forefront, and actually
Mm-hmm.
in the 2 games against Edmonton sort of stood out in the positive and then stood out in the negative, and that's the double-edged sword that is William Nylander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, be careful. The cult will come after you. You better
well
have a case.
well
Who
okay,
cares?
for first game on Thursday night, Nylander scored a goal. I think it was his first in 7 games. He hadn't scored since opening night. Nice goal. 3 minutes left to go in the third period. Leafs up by 1. He takes an absolutely dumb penalty that gives Edmonton a power play late in regulation.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs kill it off, but just I think a careless penalty that you don't take at the absolute wrong time. Last night, he scores a goal. Nice goal.
Yeah.
Tavares steals the puck. He beats Koskinen. Second period, another brainless penalty where he tackles
Mm-hmm.
the Oilers defenseman. And then we get the end-to-end rush, Connor McDavid looking like Gilbert Perreault goal that everybody tweeted
Mm-hmm.
the gif of, and it was a fantastic goal. But again, when you take careless penalties, especially against a team that has 2 of the best forwards in the league, like Draisaitl and McDavid, that's just you cannot do that. Brian Burke said during the broadcast, or before the broadcast, these teams can't take careless penalties, and that was no. Toronto came back, they tied up the game, and they got a point out of the game. But then in overtime, Nylander has an opportunity to win it. He gets stopped by Koskinen. And as Edmonton regathers the puck and McDavid
Mm-hmm.
has it, Nylander goes to the bench on a change while Edmonton has the puck.
Yeah.
Turns into basically a 3-on-1 break with Tavares trailing McDavid and Draisaitl as they skate by him, and Draisaitl sets up McDavid for the game winner. And the Hockey Night in Canada cameras panned to Nylander coming off the bench or coming off the ice and then walking down the hallway back to the locker room. And I just have a feeling that the cameramen were basically saying, "There's the guy responsible." Now, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm accentuating this, but a player with that kind of talent has got to play at both ends of the ice and make good decisions. And Nylander disappears at long stretches, and sometimes when he makes good decisions in the same game, he undercuts it by making bad decisions.
OG's converts, what say you? Let us know below this post on YouTube or in community. Is Mike being too hard on William Nylander, or do you think he still leaves elements of an overall game that needs to be played to be desired? You let us know, and we can continue the conversation that spawned here on the social media aspect of the Leafs Convo, Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Look, William Nylander is a key player on this team. I mean, statistically, he's a dynamo. He's the poster child for the analytics movement. They've dug in on this guy. There's not much criticism of him from that faction. Others feel like he's heralded a little too much, so they try to undercut him a little bit. At the end of the day, he's a great player. He's made some mistakes over the last few games. Do we hold that against him in the way he's developed over the last few seasons? I don't think so. If it persists, then we can say whatever we want to say. It's the guy behind the bench who's running the show, Sheldon Keefe, who will have the last say. That'll be a controversy in and of itself if it does unfold. Points in 5 straight games, Mike. The Leafs still on top of the standings. You're going to play Edmonton every single damn night. You're going to lose to them eventually. besides not being, fully appreciative of William Nylander at this point, what else can you pinpoint on that game and say, hey, that was either a negative or a positive the team can carry forward?
Well, I think the big positive, and as we've seen, you know, through most of his 4 years in Toronto, as you come out of the first month of the regular season and go into the heart of the season, Freddie Anderson starts to heat up. And really, he played great yesterday. He's played really well over the last few games. He's had to because Jack Campbell got hurt, and I don't think that they really want to play Michael Hutchinson much. So, and the schedule is fortuitous for the Leafs. They have 4 days off between the game last night and the next contest against Vancouver on Thursday. So it gives Anderson a bit of rest, and they're going to have to play him probably most of the starts until Campbell gets back. But he has played much better. The save that he made on Josh Archibald with about 10 seconds left to go, and you could see this unfold as you were watching the game. You saw Jake Muzzin stumble at the blue line. It wasn't something. It was just a stumble. You can't help that happening. But as soon as that happened, Edmonton jumped on the play, went odd man break the other way, and Archibald has a unbelievable chance late in regulation, and Anderson gets his left arm on it to save the point. So he's played much better, and they've needed him to. But I think that the thing that people should notice, and it's a difference between last year and this year, is what the Leafs are getting out of their depth. They're getting, Travis Boyd scores a goal, Jason Spezza scores a goal. They get good performances out of Joey Anderson and Pierre Engvall. Barabanov, even though he's not getting a lot of an opportunity, has played fairly well. They're getting offense. Wayne Simmons has 3 goals in 3 straight games. I don't think they expected that out of him. I think they expected some contribution of physicality, but on the power play and even 5-on-5, Simmons is playing real well. So that's the difference from last year. They, very rarely did they get anything positive out of their third and fourth lines. So I think that's the difference, and they're getting production as well from the core group.
Mike, you say that's the difference, but by design, it should be the difference. That is why Kyle Dubas made the alterations and the additions to this group during the off season. So now here we are, and when the support players are required to chip in, they have a better opportunity because they have a better skill set and a better understanding of what their roles are. This is the Leafs Convo for Oak Ridge Ford in London, Ontario. I'm Norm. In Cheektowaga, New York, Mike Jello. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like 4 days off, 3-4 days off for the Maple Leafs, coming off a run where it was every second night they were either playing the Flames or the Oilers. What does this break do for the Maple Leafs?
Well, Sheldon Keefe said after the game, it's basically like a reset where they're going to get a chance to get in a couple good practices and get some rest. You saw the way he approached the game yesterday, and he did this in one of the games in Calgary, where he pretty much in the last, I would say, half of the game played 4 defensemen, maybe 5. You look at the time on ice yesterday, Muzzin and Hall, Brody and Riley were over 23 minutes. Bogosian played about 14 and a half, and Mikko Lehtinen, who he doesn't really know too well, didn't have a lot of time to work with him, played under 10. That imbalance can't continue. If they continue to play their top 4 over 25 minutes, they're going to be dead by the time the playoffs come around. So he's going to have more confidence and more trust in Lehtinen to be able to use him for more minutes down the line, and Travis Dermott when he gets back in the lineup. And Keefe was very pointed in saying that Dermott has played really well, but they need to get Lehtinen in the lineup to see what he's made of. So I think that the next 4 days they're going to get some rest. They're going to try to get things a little more organized. People can't really complain since they're 7-2-1, but a coach is always going to want to drill on the details. And at the end of this, they're a week closer to probably getting Joe Thornton and Campbell
Yep.
and Nick Robertson back, so they'll get healthier.
All hands on deck. During an 82-game schedule, the great teams don't really take their foot off the accelerator. In a compressed season, that has to be the case, and then some. So, look, this team can't go on any extended losing streaks. It's not about just losing ground or the inability to add to a lead in the standings, but it's about momentum, Mike. And with this group, with the role players having been changed out, players with more capability to support the top guys, there really shouldn't be an extended period of time that this team isn't producing and putting points on the board.
On top of the depth guys, like I mentioned earlier, the core group is producing. I mean, Tavares has 10 points. Matthews has scored goals in five consecutive games. Marner is in the top 5 in the NHL in scoring. Nylander, I think he has 9 points, and in spite of the fact that he didn't score a goal in 7 games, he still got 9 points. So they're getting production out of their core group, and that's necessary. But that's why getting something out of players you don't expect to get something out of is even more important, because that on top of your core producing just makes you even tougher to defend. And that's the good thing about the Leafs right now.
Hey, good old Mitch Marner's shooting percentage is plummeting. 4 shots against the Oilers on Saturday night. No goals, but he got another assist.
I mean, Mitch, right now, Marner is having a great season. I think you see the dynamics of him and Matthews sort of working off each other, the talent that both of them have. And when you see that, you just shake your head at the fact that Mike Babcock never wanted to put them together. And you wonder now what the hell was behind that, because obviously it's a dynamic pairing, and Tavares is working well with Nylander. So I don't get it, but you can see how it may pay dividends down the line, because anybody who plays with them is going to score points as well, and they're very, very tough to stop. And if Marner continues to be able to shoot like he has been, and apparently he's been working on his shot in the offseason the last couple of years, and he says working with Matthews as well, and Matthews has got one of the best shots in the league, it just makes him a more well-rounded player and a better player.
Yeah, Mr. Rocket Richard, number 16, on his way to a 40-goal campaign. Forget about that. Night in and night out, Mitch is making incredible passes to his good buddy, Austin Matthews, and he did it again on Sunday. Those two guys are lethal. On any given night, they're going to make magic. And that's not only essential to the showcase of the team and people being excited to watch these stars as they reach the peak of their careers. But it's essential that these guys night in and night out, and it's sort of the baseline of this conversation, is to be consistent and not have too many lapses, because the way the season's set up, the way this team has been built, where these guys are in their careers and what's at stake, there's no other choice. You have to succeed. Last point to you.
Well, the hallmark of this team over the last few years has been inconsistency, has been the fact that they look like world beaters at one moment of the game and then disappear for a stretch. And like last year, they would give up 3 goals in like a span of 4 minutes, and then you'd wake up and say, what the hell happened? And spend the rest of the game catching up. But this year, those stretches have been few and far between. So I think that's a sign of maturity, and it's a reason for Leaf fans to be very optimistic. And I just have to add this at the very end here, Norm. The jerseys last night.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, the reverse retro jerseys are an abomination.
No way! I love them.
Well, okay. I will just say this. Watching a game on television, you cannot tell what player is what. I need a Chris Cuthbert deserves the broadcasting version of the Oscar for being able to tell who had the puck when and where. And honestly, I messaged a friend of mine who's in the business, and I said, when in a season where nobody is in the stands and everybody is watching on television, do you think it's important to be able to see what the numbers are and the names?
I suppose this circus would have been better appreciated by 20,000 fans in the stands. Seeing those uniforms up close and in person would most likely be one thing awesome, and the teams would be able to sell gazillions of them. But watching on television, I do get what you're talking about. Selfishly, I enjoyed the jerseys. I'd actually buy one. I don't know, maybe my wife can have one shipped overnight through Amazon or something like that, and we'll overpay for it. That'll be great. I think they're fantastic. OG's Converse, there's another talking point for you on the platform. What did you think of the jerseys? Not that big a deal. Something fun to discuss. In the meantime, like this post. Please subscribe to the podcast if you wish. If not, that's okay. We love when you keep coming back to support us. Mr. A, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you soon.